Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Whiskered Woodcarver. I am Jeff C., your host, and let's see here. I'm going to pull up some stuff. First of all, I just want to welcome everybody who's watching us carve one more time. As always, you can find me at Jeff C. everywhere. But one of the things I wanted to talk about really quick is a lot of people want to know what I'm using. A lot of other artists have looked around and figured, like, how can I stream like you can on Amazon Live? Well, really quickly, I'm just going to run through what I have. What I'm using right now is the Heil PR40 microphone. I have used this for all of my live streaming shows. It is a wonderful microphone, especially for podcasting. You'll see a lot of live streamers using it. I really love it. Heil PR40. It's pricey, but it's worth it in my humble opinion. That is plugged into my Rodecaster, and the Rodecaster lets me do sound effects, monitor everything. It lets me record all of the different things that I need to for a backup. If I'm streaming for a podcast, it lets me record a backup podcast. I mean, it's just an incredible. And you can take it with you and have 4 people plug into it. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm not even using it to its full potential, but it is solid. I've used it for probably since it came out. I think it's 2 years. Haven't had an issue with it at all. Sits here in my office, off to the side. In fact, you can see it. Let me turn my camera around, carving cam. You can see it. It's sitting right here. And I've got just my camera cords draped over it and my Apple Pencil there. But yeah, so it is. It's a solid piece. All these buttons here let you do different sound effects. So you have all your controls here. And the other thing is, you can see there on the top of it, it talks about the processing. It has this amazing processor that a lot of like the big time radio stations use, and compressing and all this mumbo jumbo. All I know, it makes me sound really good. So I really like it. So that is what I use. You don't have to have that to go live streaming, but I really like it. But it is the Rodecaster Pro down below in your stream. The other thing I'm using is, and I use this for all my streams because it's amazing, is the Stream Deck. I've actually got 2 of them. I really like. I had the little one first, and I ran out of room. But I really like the big Stream Deck. For this show right now, I only have 3 different scenes, but here I'll show you really quick. When I have, the cool thing is with the software, you can set up for multiple shows. So I have it set up for shows I produce. You can see it changing. Oh, I hit the wrong button. You can change it to, let me go back to the profile for that one. But you can change it for all, and it's all in one. It's all set up for one. So, like when I go live with Guy Kawasaki, those are all the different scenes I have set up there. And same thing with when I go with my own show, I have all these different set up, and it ties right into Ecamm, which is the software that I'm using. So, and then back to what I'm using right now. So it's really, really cool. Love the Stream Deck. It's an easy way to switch scenes. I'll just hit a button, boom, I'm back. So very, very cool. The lights that I'm using are the Elgato key lights. And let me go back to this. I'll just point it up to there. There you go. You see it right there. I got one on each side of the old man cave coming here to the screen. But that allows me to control it actually with the Stream Deck. So it's very, very cool. So I love those lights. I've got all my lights on here in the man cave right now. But a lot of times I'll have it off and just have those Elgato lights going, which is really cool, especially when you'll see when I start carving, the carving cam, everything going on with that. It just keeps everything bright, and I can adjust it. I can actually change the color temperature with them, so they're very, very cool. The other thing that I use whenever I'm live streaming, especially with guests, is I have these little ear monitors in for headphones, so I don't get feedback, and you can't even tell they're there. They go around my back. They just are really unobtrusive, and I use those for monitoring. The speakers come out of those instead of out of my system, so I don't have any feedback. But they're like $15. They're cheap, and they just work so good. You can't see them. I don't like to use wireless or Bluetooth headphones while I'm doing a live stream because I've had them cancel out before. Love the products. Love like the Apple AirPods Pro. I think they're amazing. Won't use them for live stream because I've had them fail. Just lose connection, and you can't hear anybody, which is bad. So I always like to be wired in, and that's why I use these Mi Audio M6s for all my live stream. The Canon that is the actual camera that I'm using. Let me go back to my carving cam. Is right there. It's actually got a Parrot teleprompter on it right now for when I do YouTube videos. But that's the Canon M50 behind that right there, and Yeah, I love it. I have the small little the small little pancake lens on it, so I can get a little bit of blurry. You'll see like the background there. It's a little bit of blurriness that I like for my set. So, but I love the Canon M50. It's small. It's not very heavy. I have it mounted with the Elgato arms, and I just love it. So, and for the carving cam, when you see me switch to like when I'm going to show the carving and stuff, I'm actually using the Logitech Brio on a little tripod. So that's what I use for that. The arm that I'm using for my mic is the Rode arm below here. And let me go back to the carving cam here. You can see it right there. That's what I use. Love it. Been using it for years. It squeaks a little bit, but if once you have it in spot, it just stays in spot and doesn't go anywhere. So really like that. So let's see. Oh, the flex arms I mentioned before. That's what I have. The actual. Let me go back here. Camera arm right there. That's what it's onto the M50. That's what's holding up the camera above my my iMac. And yeah, they work. They're rock solid too. And see, this is a table. It's a standing table. It's a powered standing table. So everything moves with me. So I really like that. So I can stand if I want, but all my Elgato lights and my camera, they all go up at the same time. So I've got all those Elgato master mounts and everything, and they are worth their weight. I even have the base that I haven't hooked up for this camera yet. It's going to have it go over my shoulder for when I do carving. And then I have a little tripod that camera's on there. So that's kind of everything that I'm using right now. Here's the this is the teleprompter that I use for my YouTube videos. Let me pull that up again. You can see that right there. The Parrot. I've tried like 3 or 4 different teleprompting software. I mean teleprompters. I even have an iPad one that mounts to a big DSLR. But I love this one because my phone, it sits right underneath there. And it reflects, and I have software that I can control it with my iPad or with my, go back up here, or with my desktop that's called Teleprompter Pro. No, Teleprompter Premium is the software I use, but it is slick. So like even when I'm reading a guest, when they come on and I'm talking with them, I have their bio right here so I can look right in the camera, and I just scroll through it with my mouse while I'm talking, and nobody can tell that I'm reading it. So that's the Parrot teleprompter. Amazing. Oh, it's Padcaster Parrot, yeah, is what it is. So, and that's hooked on to that Canon M50. So, love it, love it, love it. So, anyway, that is the setup that I'm using. Today, I'm going to start the whiskered wood carving music, which I forgot to do. There we go. And so today, we are going to be carving this little booger. See if it'll focus on it. Get it in front of my face there. There it is. That is what we're going to be carving today. We started doing it last time. There's kind of how far we got. We'll kind of finish that up today. We're going to be using, when we get to the detail stuff, the micro tools. There's the mini set and the micro set of palm tools by Flexcut. Let me pull those up. Now, I think these are the micro tools, but it's really hard to see. Let me go to the carving cam. That it's a little V on the end of that, so it works really, really well for making beard, and we're going to be using that to put like the detail here in the hair with this little palm tool, and they just fit right in your palm, and they just work amazingly well. So I love these things. This is what kind of pretty much got me into the Flexcut lineup, are these palm tools, because I really like them for detail stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing today. As we're going along today, make sure that you ask me any questions that you might have as we are going along. We do a lot of different carving things here. Let's see. But yeah, so let's get carving. So we're going to start out, as always. If you can see on my hand here, that's a scar, about 11 stitches from using the wrong kind of glove. So I always use these cut resistance gloves now. I mean, I'm in East Texas. Hospitals are full right now. Not a good time to go to the emergency room. These things are amazing because they will protect you. They're going to protect you from, like, if your hand slides off and goes like that. It's not going to really protect you from, like, if you jab it, it's going to go through there. But for, like, slipping off and hitting this stuff is going to protect your hand. So if you're doing any carving, if you're getting started, make sure that you get at least a level 4 or level 5 cut resistant glove. They make a chainmail glove that some people use. I don't like it because I'll dull my knives really quick. But if you want to be super careful, you can look for a chainmail type of glove. That's probably the best protection you're going to get. But once again, it dulls you'll see me as I carve, I'm really moving my fingers around and it would dull it really quickly. So that's why I don't use chainmail. But use some sort of protection. The other thing that I use is this cowhide leather thumb protector. So here's what it looks like new. Here's what I use. Look how, it lasts forever. But I put this on my other hand, the actual hand that's cutting the knife, to protect that hand, because a lot of times I'll be carving backwards, like getting a cut, and this just protects it. So important to have them on both. Some guys like to use friction tape and they wrap their finger. I get up and want to do something else, and so I don't want to have to unwrap tape all the time. So I really like this thumb guide that we'll use when we're carving here. So really like that. And at the beginning, I always sharpen all of my tools, and I use this Flexcut slip strop. And they make bigger ones that have like a longer length where you can sharpen your knife, but I really like the small one. It fits in my bag, it fits on my desk really easy. For these small detail knives, I don't need a lot of space. And they come with the sharpening compound. It's almost like a kind of a hard crayon, and you just rub it in here. They last forever. And this is my old one, and this one came with a new kit. But yeah, they just last forever. And so at the beginning of each show or carving session, I always sharpen up the knives I'm going to use, and using this nice little sharpening compound on the slip strop. And let's see, where is it? We're talking about those micro tools, and those micro tools, you can sharpen those and kind of hone them by using the back of the slip strop. So they're made to fit exactly in the same kind of V that these palm tools are made, and so you can easily kind of get those buffed. And a lot of the micro and mini tools also have gouges, and you can, or like a U gouge, and so you can actually, same thing on these, you can use this to help kind of hone and buff those out too. And then over here is like a little small strop that you can sharpen the outside edges. So really handy. That's why I like the slip strop, because it has two sides, one for each, and it's just one thing I can put in my bag instead of having two. But it works really well. So let's go ahead and sharpen what we're going to be using for most of our cutting today is this detail knife. And I really like this set of 3 detail knives that Woodcraft has, and you get this Pelican knife, which I really like because it lets you go into all those little nooks and crannies and really get them out, and it's got a good grip on it. So Pelican knife is one of them we're going to be using. The other one is this small detail knife. This is really handy for the size of these Christmas ornaments that I'll be doing today. So really like this mini knife. Works really well. I use corks to keep all my stuff in, just because I don't like them rolling around the bag and getting jabbed in my hand. And this last one that comes in this 3-knife set is a chip carving knife. Now, I don't do a lot of chip carving, but this is very handy for if you're doing some detail work when you're doing your chip carving, pressing it down and just kind of and having a little more control of this little blade for your cuts. So it's nice to have. I really like this 3-knife set. I'm going to do some chip carving sometime, but just not today. So let's go ahead and sharpen. We already put the sharpening compound on here, and you just kind of drag it across your this a little bit. There we go. Drag this across a couple times, and that's what I like. This small little strop here really works well for this. So just like that. This little Pelican detail knife. Okay, that one's. I sharpen at the end of every session, so that one's done. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little one too. Just like that. And you'll see that black, that's a little bit of the metal coming off the knife, sharpening it. So you're just taking off a little bit of the metal just to hone it. just like that. But very, very handy to have in your bag. So there we go. So those are sharp. Those are ready to go. This is from the 3-knife set of their kind of beginner set Flexcut. I use this one when I'm really rounding down the whittling down some of this, getting some wood off quickly. This is a good size knife to take a bunch of wood off, like when you're really kind of roughing out a piece at first. So it's really nice. It cuts really well. You'll see how I'm using my thumb to control it as I'm carving. So very, very cool. I need to take off a little bit more around here. I forgot to soak this one again. A lot of times on these end grain, I'll do a solution of half rubbing alcohol and half water and spray it and let it soak, and it just lets you carve a little bit easier. Makes the wood just a little bit softer, that you can, it's not so hard to cut through. So right now I'm just trying around this ball of this hat a little bit more. And if you're wanting to just get started carving, I put a bunch of different books down in the carousel, like Getting Started Whittling. One of my favorite books has these bear patterns that, like here, I really like this bear pattern. And then I, as you can tell, I like Christmas. And so it also has this a cool little bear pattern that you can do that I really like. So make sure you check those out down below in the carousel. Just round this off a little bit. This is using the bigger tool from this this 3-knife starter set, one of the bigger ones in there. It's a really good place, and you can see it comes with sharpening compound too. Doesn't come with a strop. You're gonna have to glue some leather on something or buy one of the slip strops. But it's a really great set to start out with if you're just wanting to get started carving or whittling, and really like that. So if you're watching, make sure you ask any questions you have, wondering what I'm doing, how to do something. Last time we had some questions on where to start, and so this time I put some of my favorite starting books down in the carousel down below this video. So I thought it would be a good day to carve. It's holiday weekend, not too hot here in the old man cave today, Texas, so getting there. So you can see how we're slowly getting this ready. And I like this penguin pattern because I don't have to. Most of the time I'll just hold it up there and I'll draw where the lines will have to be on a blank piece. And I use this 1x1 basswood. This is what I really like to use. And in fact, Beavercraft sells a pack of really good quality wood that lets you, it's 16 pieces. And I cut these down because these are too long. And so you can, I cut it down so it fits. But the cool thing with some of these longer pieces that come in this kit, like here, this is the size that comes with, it lets you give you some options. So here's another little ornament that I carve, and it lets me, I just trim that off, and then I can do a different kind of Santa or ornament. So I really like using these 1x1s. And the other cool thing is you can make a little jig and put it on the side, and actually, cut it in half this way, like cut it at an angle, and then you have this flat piece, and you can make these flat ornaments. And so then you get two pieces. You can make two pieces out of the same length, because I carve it at an angle, and we'll do one of these days. But I really like doing these as giveaways for people. They seem to really like these hand carved Santas. So, but these are really simple. I call them no-seam Santas, so you don't have to worry about eyes. You just have the nose and carve it out. So that's no-seam. If you're just getting started, is a great way to get started with carving. So All right. Sorry, got distracted. But I wanted to let you guys know about that. Oh, have I? So, MC says, have you carved the sailor guys? I have seen those, the salty sailors. I have not done those. I like to do a lot of Christmas. My dad has carved a snowman like this and had a corncob pipe coming out of it that way. But there's very cool. So there are a bunch of patterns floating around for those sailor guys, MC, over like on Pinterest, and you can find them even on Facebook. But there's really cool. I know what you're talking about. Those are really cool. Those salty sailor fishermen. There's a whole subset of that kind of carving that's really cool. That might be something to try sometime on here. I would like to try carving one of those. Those are, I would say, might be a little bit more advanced than what we're doing here. But I always like to do these penguins. One, because you really don't need to go to a bandsaw and cut them out. You can pretty much do them like the bears and stuff like that. Those I cut most, it out with a bandsaw. But with these penguins, you really don't have to. So MC, did you carve them yourself or did you buy them? Those are very cool. I wish you could put pictures here. I would love to see. Can you put a picture in here? Can you type it? Can you send a picture? I don't know if you can or not. If you could send a picture in here, MC, I would love to see those because those are really, that would be really cool. I have a secret like Pinterest board where I keep all these carving patterns that I find that I think are cool. But I'd love to see those. In fact, if you have a chance, feel free to DM me at Jeff C. That's on the screen there, and just send those to me because I would love to see them, especially if you carved them. I'd love to see those. I consider myself a very amateur beginner carver, but I sure like doing it. Salvage it from a restaurant going out of business. Yeah, that's really cool. I think I'm a little scared that some of this hand done stuff is fading away, and I'm glad that you salvaged it. That is very cool. One of my friends salvaged like a big steakhouse, and they had all those deer antler chandeliers, and he got all those, they look really cool in his house or in his building. Oh, it has a lighthouse on it too. That's even cooler. That is awesome that you were able to snag that. Those kind of things are, it probably would have ended up on a landfill or something if you wouldn't have saved it. So I'm going to be using now this. Like I said, I really like this little detail knife. I just being able to get in here and get some of this stuff off here is pretty cool. Sure. Yeah. So is the lighthouse, MC, is it carved too, or is it just like a different type of prop? Yeah, everything was going in the dumpster. That's cool, you found it. That's a find right there. Well, now, MC, you're going to have to start carving yourself and, build out that set a little bit more. So right here, I'm just taking a little bit more off around this hat brim. Okay, cool. Everything is carved. That's pretty cool. Gotta always keep your eyes open. You never know what you're gonna find. One of my priceless, and my dad's too, is my grandpa was a woodworker, and he has all these old-fashioned wooden hand planes. Like before they had, these electric planers, they would do everything by hand. And he has all these sets of these wooden planers that are just really cool. They're also cool because they're my grandpa's that he used. So I am just cleaning this up around here before I start putting a detail on it. Went around his belly a little more. We haven't done his feet yet either. So on his feet, I try to just kind of round it up, and I don't know if this is the correct way a penguin does, but it works for me. And just put a little notch in the front. So we'll do that here in a minute. Let's trim this up a little bit here. Just like that. That's why I like this little knife, this pelican knife. Some of the other detail knives I've used, they leave little fuzzies because they're not sharp, and this they don't hold their edge very long. This little pelican knife really does. That out a little bit. When you're carving, remember it's not a race. You're just trying to have some fun. Up a little bit here. Pull this back a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on carving. I need to fix that up. Sometimes I leave a bit more of a tail, like on this one. You can see it's got a little tail sticking out. On this one I brought it down a little bit too far, so it's going to be covering that, but that's cool. Every carving's different. Okay, so MC, so you must have came late. So what I do, this little thing here, this slip strop, he asked, do you sharpen those when they get dull, or do you buy a new one? So I love this little slip strop here. I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see it. Where'd you go? Because it lets me put it. You can get the long strops, but I like this little one because, one, it lets me have a place when I do my little V-tools that I can kind of hone them right here. But on this side, all you do is there's a little sharpening compound that comes with it. It's like a crayon. It's like this little crayon here, and I just put a little bit on the old leather there, and then I just drag it a couple times. And you can tell when you're carving, it'll start to pull, and you'll just notice it's not cutting as well. You just do this a couple times. I usually like do 5 on one side, flip it over and do 5 on the next. Same thing here, and then that's all it takes to get it. Unless there's a chip or something in it where you have to take it to like a sharpening stone, I'll do it that way. And so it's cutting already a little better just by doing it that really quick. So yeah, that's the cool thing, is you don't have to buy a new one. You just sharpen it up. Now the other things that you have to watch out, like if you're carving on a tile floor or a cement floor, sometimes if you drop them, that you can chip them and break them, and then sometimes it's better to replace them. But most of the time you can sharpen them. And even those ones you break, a lot of times you can file them down and make like a detail knife out of it if it was a bigger one. Yeah, it is really nice. I didn't start carving until later in life, MC, because I always thought everything was so that I thought it was too expensive to do it, but I never really researched it. And really, these knives aren't that expensive, and the wood's not for the if I keep these nice, I'll hand these down to my kids. So you can do a lot of stuff with just one knife, so don't be intimidated about that. I'm showing these because I found they're helpful when I'm carving, but a lot of the old timers will use one knife, and that's all they need. But I like some of these other ones. It makes it a little bit easier for certain detail work. So I do here. notice sometimes it's hard, depending on what hand you use, to get where you want to go, and just go slow. Just cleaning up this end here. So there we go. That's what I wanted. Kind of want to smooth this out a little bit. I'm going to use this other mini tool just to get a little bit more leverage. It's not as, it doesn't bend as much when you're carving. So take some of this off here. Just like this. So MC, do you do any carving? Are you interested in carving? You know, what brings you here? Still need to take a little bit off of this. Round it down a little bit. Just like that. Sometimes the wood will split weird on you, and you're like, ugh. And you just kind of have to work around it. There we go. Like this right here at the end is kind of split weird, so I'm just kind of trying to even it out a little bit. Just like that. Now we're just going to kind of make sure where we start. So I'm going to take this top off right here and make this these little feet. So what I like to do is just go straight in with the knife here. I'm probably ought to set it down on the table so I don't cut my finger open. So I'll just go try to find the middle right here. In, shift a little bit, and then like that. Do it right. That. There we go. So now we've got kind of like his little feet. Hey Kevin, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Around this over here down a little bit. No matter how many times I do these things, I still have to look, see how I did it before. Take some of that ends off there. Like that. End here, I'll just kind of flatten that out. That. So you can see his feet are starting to come together. We'll round some of this up a little bit. It's interesting, some of the feet are a little bit bigger than the others, but that's okay. And also look while I'm doing it like, okay. And a lot of times I have a dental brush that I use before I paint them to kind of get all these fuzzies. But you want to try to get as many of these fuzzy, like inside of these little cuts out as possible. Because they will be a pain when you start painting. Clean this up around his beak here. Right now we've kind of done all the big cuts and taken everything out. And now I'm just kind of using this detail knife and going around and rounding things that I don't want to have an angle on them. Kind of cleaning it up. Hey Thomas, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. cleaning up around this stuff here. Take this down a little bit. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any about any of the things down below in that carousel. If you want to get started carving, or you have any questions about the tools I'm using, let me know. Still not. And you can see some of these, you can actually, a lot of them I'll give to people, and they'll either want them standing up, or I put a little eyelet in there and I hang them that they can hang it from the tree. So just put a little bit of, you know, kind of burlap cord on it, and got a nice little ornament for Christmas. That's, I mean, I've got so much kudos for when I give somebody something that I carved and just say, hey, Merry Christmas. They wig out. They love these hand-carved things. I usually sign them at the bottom, which is kind of cool. They like to see that, so. Yeah, so MC asks, the Elgato mount is what I'm mounting the camera with. So, yeah. I have, I've got all of the Elgato mounts, and so, let's see here, I've got the flex arm, but I also have the master mount, where the key lights are mounted straight to the desk as well as the camera, and so that Elgato flex arm is what I have. I also have the base, because I'm probably eventually going to take this little mini tripod that I have this camera on, and actually have it weighted with the Elgato flex arm on it, so it can kind of go over my shoulder more. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet, but yeah, I love all the Elgato stuff, actually. So a lot of my artist friends are starting to use more and more of their stuff, like their Streamlight, the key light is really, really great. But yeah, for this main camera, the one that is this one, that's the M50, and it's on right over my monitor. To my table is that flex arm. So works really, really well. Really, really like it, and I like it because it holds up the M50 really solid. And I can, you know, I actually have a teleprompter on it, and like when I do YouTube videos or live shows where I got to introduce somebody, I have that on the Elgato thing. So it's very, very cool. Really, really like it. I've not had any problems with any of Elgato products. It took a while to get it locked in with the M50, but in fact, I'll show you. This is what it looks like right here. So you see it goes down, and it goes. This is a standing table, so I can adjust the height, but it holds that M50 right there. So it's really, really cool. It's very, very stable, and I just really, really like it a lot. So thanks for asking, though. Not only do I like carving, I'm also a tech. I like the tech stuff too. A lot. Too much. So. Let's see here. For a minute. So MC, do you? Thank you. Do you do some live streaming? Or do you do any like artist kind of stuff? So it's kind of split here, so I'm trying to kind of round that down. Still using this detail knife. I really like. Oh, guitar playing. That would be cool. Yeah. So you'd like the mount because it holds everything really in place. The camera's great, M50, but I also, this little one that I'm using for this carving cam is the Logitech Brio, their 4K Brio, which is a great camera. I use that as my main camera forever. So you don't have to spend $1 gazillion on equipment, but yeah, I'd love to see some of your guitar stuff. That's really cool. Are you going to teach guitar, or are you going to just stream your music? It's really chipped out right here. I'm trying to fix. See how it kind of is chipped there? I don't want that. It's going to pick out paint weird if I don't fix that. Try this Pelican knife, see if it works any better. It's almost too long to get in there. Oh, just songs you've done. Very, very cool, man. That's really cool. You have a YouTube channel that you do too? Kind of need to take a look So it's not that hard to be Amazon. Well, I had an influencer's account from way back, and then I learned how to stream. So they're looking at your following, and one of the things they look at is like your Twitter followers, and one of the things are YouTube, but also Instagram. A lot of people are getting on with their Instagram, and that's probably if you apply and they say you don't have enough followers or they reject you for some reason, a lot of people are waiting a little bit, growing their Instagram account and coming on that way. So I just lucked into it, to be honest. So you know what, man? I think you could do it. I would not doubt that you could become an influencer. It just takes some being consistent. I don't consider myself an influencer at all, but I have been consistent going live, and that helps more than anything. I do a lot of social media. This is kind of my hobby, but I have a other show that I do about social media. And if you go look at it, if you look at in my on my page, MC, a couple weeks ago we did one about it was with Dealcasters, and it was on how to be an Amazon influencer. So if you're interested in that, go back and watch that show, and then DM me any questions you have, because I think they did a great job of explaining how to do that. Because I think everybody has something creative they can share with the world, not just so-called influencers. Everybody has something to teach or to tell or to share. That's what I believe anyway. So I'm just trying to finish up this. I want to get to a little bit of the micro tools here, because that's what I said we we're going to do. Some stuff once in a while will split on you, and you just got to take that time and fix it. Like that. Kind of round it. Picked up this little other one here. Thanks for following, MC. Appreciate it. So, just kind of cleaning this up here. Looking pretty good. What's happened here? Sometimes you'll just get a weird little grain thing and it'll chip on you, and you just have to go back at it from a different angle. So it's really strange sometimes, but that's just the way it works. Okay, so let's get these micro and mini tools. So the micro tools, this is pretty much what got me in probably the Flexcut camp, I guess, is these little tools, these little palm tools. This one, it's hard to see. They make like a U gouge. This is a V tool, and I don't have a. Anyway, you'll see it. It's great for like if you're doing beards on an ornament here, or because they have little mini gouges. They have little mini V tools, which I love for beards, and the hats. So they're just really cool. And here's the like a U gouge. It's hard to see, but they're really great for when you need them. Like when I did these bears, when I did their hair, that's like with a little mini gouge and a little V tool that I like to mix up. So they're and even like the little details on around his overalls, all that stuff. Really, really, really great for detail work. Even stuff like on a snowman, just the mouth, and I use the little mini gouges to like here's that's not it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Like here's a little mini. It's a gouge, but it's very, very wide, narrow gouge, and that's good for like cleaning up stuff or going in and like even some ones that aren't as wide, going in and kind of gouging out places where the eyes are going to go. So very, very handy to go. So what we're going to do for like this ball, and it's really important because these can slip off really easy, that you have these gloves and the stuff that I had mentioned at the top to protect your hands, because I've had these slip and these can go through your glove pretty easy. So just take your time, and like right here, I'm just going to go, let's see if I can add this a little bit better. Just slowly start making a little gouges, see how that slipped off? You just got to be really careful. Going around just like that. And it's making a little bit of detail around each one of those. Now, some guys don't do it. They'll just use their knife and put like little marks on it. But I really like taking the time and put these details in. It takes a little longer, but when you paint it, like I use an antiquing thing that we'll talk about later, it adds dark color inside of those gouges, and it just makes those details pop a little bit better. So really like using these little mini V tools, and this is the smallest one from the set, and it really helps. And I'm doing it at an angle. It's going across here like that. So do this on here, and then also at an angle on the kind of see how it's kind of going through there. That's the next thing I'm going to upgrade is a better camera for this secondary camera here with a carving cam. Just be really careful when you're doing this. There we go. Just slowly go around, and then I'll move it, and because this end grain is really hard. So one more here. Doesn't have to be perfect either. Just adding detail. So there, I did all around that little area, and I'll take my little slip strop, because on the other side, and these are notoriously hard to get sharp, and so I'll just do it little times in there, getting that kind of honed in the middle of the V. Kind of do it on the outside too, just like this. All right. So now now we'll just kind of continue those lines up. Like that. Said it's really, stuff's kind of hard, so you just got to be careful. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to kind of match the same angle as you're going, as you did around the bottom. That one kind of went a little crazy. Just going around just like that, adding that detail. So continue to do that. Go around. And you can make these balls at the top the big or as small as you want. This is kind of a medium sized one. The other ones I've done. Kind of look where maybe you've missed. Same thing, just keep moving towards the top. See how that slipped? If I wasn't wearing a glove, that would have got me. That would have bit me. This is when you want to spray it with that solution of half alcohol, half water. That would soften this up. I really should do that, but I don't have any of my solution ready. It's done. So these are these Flexcut micro tools. Work really well. Especially, it's hard to see right now when I'm carving it, but when you have the paint on it, you can see it really pops. But you can kind of see, if I can focus this any better. It really does a good job of adding detail. And the same thing around the, I'll do around the hat brim. So we've got about 10 minutes left, so we'll do that. So it's the same thing. I kind of go around through the top first, and then I come around through the bottom, and then kind of fill it in. So let's see what angle I want to do it here. Like this. Just making that little bitty line. Doing that. Just gonna go all the way around. Some people will sand these before they do that. I like to see the knife marks so people know that it's carved. That it's not just a resin, something they bought at a gas station somewhere. Just like that. Rounding it down. So we'll probably do this for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll knock off for the day. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. I'm more than happy. Also follow me at Jeff C there on the side, anywhere across the interwebs. That's where you can find me. Probably carve a couple more times this weekend. I'm using my thumb to like balance and really give me control so it doesn't fly off. You don't want to like just be gouging. You want to really control it. And I'll actually wear holes in even this cut protective glove, and so you always want to make sure if it gets a hole in it that you replace it. I put some of that down the carousel as well, the ones that I use. So just kind of doing some So I've gone and done it all the way across the top, kind of angling around the lip of the hat brim there. And you'll see, I kind of, when it went through, it kind of jabbed there. I'll go clean that up with a knife afterwards here, but then you just want to follow the same kind of thing on the bottom here. Chipped out a little bit. Very slow, just taking a little bit of wood off at the time. This is just for detail. That. Didn't have to match up perfectly. There we go. So we're just kind of rounding this down. Around the edge, making that little texture mark. Then once you go around the entire time, you can go back and say, oh, need to even that out. I missed one there. I need to have one a little closer. Getting it. Gives that little texture, just that little bit of taking the time with this little Flexcut V tool. And there's so many cool little tools that are so handy for carving in that set, in that micro tool set. I think I have the micro. They have a micro and a mini. They're both great. The micro gives the smallest like V tool for like beards and stuff, and I really like using these little V tools for carving. So it's a lot of fun. Just adds that little detail. So I'll just continue to go around the back here. Really holding it steady with both fingers from both hands. But if you've ever wanted to carve, don't be intimidated. Just get something and try it. Even if it's whittling a stick to a point. Get some basswood or some down at the carousel below. And just try it. I think you'll like it. I mean, I love these penguins because don't have to cut it out like a pattern with a bandsaw. I can just go outside, especially when it's cooler, and just start carving one of these. And 45 minutes later, I have a gift I can give somebody. So you want to be really careful when you're going back down towards this beak of the penguin, because it's easy to slip, and then you'll have a jab or even chip that whole beak off, and then, which I've had to do before, and then you have a penguin with a lot smaller beak. So there we go. We've kind of used those micro tools, and we've gone all the way around, added some really, really nice texture to everything. And so next time, to finish up, we'll probably just do some cleanup work, add some of the hat folds that I like to put in it, and then we will be good to go. So just a little bit of cleanup work, but from going from this right here to this, pretty cool, with just a couple knives and some micro tools. And really, I encourage, and here's another one that's got a little bit more progress on it, but I still need to go and add some texture to that one. But we're getting there. And so just start simple. Just get one of those books that I have down below. There's some great ones about, Little Book of Whittling's a great one to use. There's the a complete starter set to whittling. Just start small. You don't have to do something, like start small. But one of my favorite ones is this Whittling Country Bears that has these patterns. And if you have a bandsaw and you want to do a bear, something like that, these books, these Whittling the Country Bears, are just really good. I'm trying to remember who the author is. He's an incredible carver, but I really like his. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it. We will continue to carve the Santa, and we'll actually do some painting. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Will it focus on it? We'll even try to show you guys how to paint it next. So, and antique it, because I like it to have a little bit of antique to it. So we'll continue to do some of these. I appreciate you guys watching. You can follow me everywhere at Jeff C, or this channel by going to jeffc.live. that takes you right to this channel. With that, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.